Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And before I go to today's topic, I would like to thank everyone who's been so supportive, who's been watching my video and giving your valuable comments and suggestions. I expect you to continue the same. Please share this video with your friends, and if you like the video, please click the subscribe button so that you can get updated with more videos. Now, before I go to the topic, I want to just give you a brief explanation of what we were discussing earlier. We were discussing about the cardiovascular system. We learned that the cardiovascular system is it consists of the heart, the blood vessels and the blood. So today's topic, as I have said earlier, will be the heart. Now, before I go into the topic in detail, I would like to speak about some key terms that I will be using throughout this class, and you can relate to the terms when I am talking about them further. The first one is the thoracic cavity. As the name suggests, a cavity is a hollow space. Now, where is this hollow space? It is also called as a chest cavity. So we can understand this hollow space is in the chest. Okay, and it is enclosed by the ribs. It has a vertebral column, a sternum. A sternum is a breast bone that is in the between the ribs. Okay, and it is separated from the abdomen cavity. Now, there is a structure that separates the thoracic cavity and the abdomen cavity. Now, what is that structure? The next key term is the diaphragm. Now, what is the diaphragm? Diaphragm is a muscular membranous partition between the thoracic cavity and the abdomen. Alright. The next key term that we are going to learn is about the mediastinum. Mediastinum is a division of the thoracic cavity that contains the heart, the lungs, the heart, the thymus gland, portions of the esophagus, trachea and other structures. Now we are going to learn about 2-3 valves that are there in the heart. Now, the first valve that I am going to talk to you is about the tricuspid valve. Now, what is a tricuspid valve? Tricuspid valve is a valve that has 3 cusps. Alright, and a cusp is like a flap kind of a structure. Now, this tricuspid valve is the first valve. The second valve is the bicuspid valve. Now, what is a bicuspid valve? Remember, tri is 3, bi is 2. So, this valve has only 2 cusps, and as due to this, the name is either tricuspid or bicuspid. Now, what does the tricuspid valve do? It separates the right atrium from the right ventricle, and by doing so, it is preventing the blood flowing back into the right atrium when the right ventricle contracts. Now, the second valve is the bicuspid valve. Now, what it does? It is also known as the aortic valve. Now, this valve is it has the function of regulating the blood flow from the heart to the aorta. Okay. Now, next structure that we are going to learn about is the aorta. What is the aorta? It is the major blood vessel that brings oxygen-rich supply of blood throughout the body. Alright. Now, we have learned about the key term. Now, let's go to what exactly we are going to learn now is about the heart. What is the heart? Now, we have when we talk about the heart, what image comes to our mind is it is a fist-like kind of a structure. It is there in the chest. We are all well aware of that. There is something called as a heartbeat, and there is the blood flows. It regulates the blood flow. We are all well aware of that. But a heartbeat itself is a big circuit. Now, this I'll be taking in the next class. But today I'm going to just take about the heart. Alright, the heart is a muscular organ. Alright, it is a muscular organ, and it is separated by 4 chambers. Now if imagine this is the heart, I'll be showing you a picture, but just for your giving your imaginations a chance, if this is the heart, it will have, if it is divided by 4, it will have 4 hollow spaces in it, or it is having 4 chambers. Alright. Now it is situated slightly to the left of the midline of the thoracic cavity. Okay, it is having a slightly left tilt to the thoracic cavity, in the thoracic cavity. Now we already learned what the thoracic cavity is. Now the heart that is lying on the thoracic cavity rests on the diaphragm. We already learned what diaphragm is too. Now this heart is a hollow shaped organ, and as it is cone shaped also, it is hollow. Now we can just imagine why the heart is hollow, because blood needs to go in that, right? So the structure is hollow and it is cone shaped. Alright, and it is in the mediastinum. We learn what is the mediastinum, between the 2 lungs. Okay, so our thoracic cavity, our lungs and all are giving the heart a big hug. Alright, you can imagine that way, or you can remember that way. It is in the thoracic cavity, in the mediastinum, where the lungs are there, but the heart is in between the lungs. All the other organs are giving the heart a hug. Alright, now let's talk about the borders of the heart. Now what you can imagine the structure of the heart into your mind, and what is behind it, what is posterior to it and what is anterior to it. Alright, we are going to learn about 2 borders, posterior and anterior. Now what is the posterior border? When you are sitting, if your heart is situated inside you, what is the posterior border? It is near the vertebral column. Alright, and what is the anterior border? It is behind the, or near the sternum. Alright, now we have learned about the roughly about the structure of the heart, or what the heart looks like and all. Now we are going to learn about the right side of the heart. Let's learn about the right side of the heart. Now blood that flows, or blood that is low in oxygen, that comes to the right atrium from the veins is known as the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Now there a structure is there that pours blood into the heart. Now those structures are called as the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. And now where are these structures, or or from where these structures bring blood? The superior vena cava carries the blood from the head, the neck and the chest and arms. Okay, superior vena cava, as we like, let's go into the term superior vena cava. It is, as shown in the picture, it is above. Okay, so it comes, or it carries the blood from the head, the neck, the arms and the chest. Now what is the inferior vena cava carry the blood from? It carries the blood from the trunk and the rest of the body. Alright, now 2 parts we've learned, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Okay, now the blood that is there in the right atrium. Now something poured the blood into the right atrium. From there it flows through to the right ventricle. Before that, how does it go there? I have like explained to you what the tricuspid valve is. Now the tricuspid valve, what it does is, it through that the blood is flowing to the right ventricle. Now when it flows to the right ventricle, the tricuspid valve opens and then shuts back. Okay, here the pulmonary circuit is getting activated. We learned about the pulmonary circuit in the previous class. Alright, with what it is bringing, which blood it is bringing? It is bringing the deoxygenated blood into the right and flowing into the right and left pulmonary arteries and their smaller branches. Okay, when it comes here, from there they are carried to the lungs, and there it like the capillary endings will take the blood that is flowing to the lungs. There it will get oxygenated, and the deoxygenated there it will get oxygenated, and the carbon dioxide is released there. Alright, now the right atrium and the right ventricle communicates with each other through the tricuspid valve. Okay, and from the right ventricle pulmonary artery arises. Okay, there is a speciality for the pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. What that is, I am going to tell it to you now. Pulmonary vein or pulmonary artery, I said that it is bring the blood to the right ventricle. From there the pulmonary artery arises. Now it carries venous blood, that is blood from the veins to the right, from the right ventricle to the lungs. Got it? Let me tell you once more. The blood from the superior vena cava, the inferior vena cava flows into the right atrium. Then from there it communicates to the right ventricle by the tricuspid valve, and from there the pulmonary artery arises, where the deoxygenated blood goes to the lungs. Then to the those little capillaries, they exchange oxygen and release carbon dioxide there. Okay, now let's learn about the left ventricle, left part of the heart. Left side of the heart has two chambers. Again, now we learned the right side. We have learned 4 chambers in total. We have learned about the right side. Right side has 2 chambers. Now the left side of the heart has 2 chambers as well. Now it is the left atrium and the left ventricle. Now left atrium is a thin walled structure. Thin walled structure. Okay, it will have a thin wall and it is a low pressure chamber. Okay, left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs. Now we have received the blood from the superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. From there right atrium took the blood, sent it to the right ventricle. From there pulmonary artery took the blood back to the lungs. From there that blood is received by the left atrium. Okay, and that blood is oxygenated. Now from who brings it there? The pulmonary veins bring the blood there. Alright, the pulmonary veins bring the blood there. Now here it is the only exception where an artery carries deoxygenated blood, and where the pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. Alright, pulmonary artery, as we learned, carries deoxygenated blood from the left ventricle to the lungs, and from there pulmonary vein carries the oxygenated blood back to the left atrium. Okay, now the blood from the left atrium enters the left ventricle through the bicuspid valve. Now we learned what communicates between the right atrium and the right ventricle? Tricuspid valve. Now what communicates between the right and left ventricle and left atrium? Bicuspid valve. Now the wall of the ventricle, the left ventricle, is thick because it pumps this arterial blood to the different parts of the body through the aorta. Alright, now we look at the picture in the heart, the aorta. Okay, from the left ventricle, it has to pump in force, so that wall is thick, and that will pump the oxygenated, oxygen-rich blood to the parts of the body through the aorta. We learned about the aorta before. Now, next we are going to learn. We learned about the 4 chambers, the walls of the heart. All right. Next we are going to learn about what the heart is made up of, or the layers of the heart. All right. There is a external layer, that is the outer layer. There is a middle layer, and there is an inner layer. All right. The external layer is called as a pericardium. Okay. It is peripheral, so it is called as a pericardium. Now, the middle layer is called as a myocardium, and the internal layer is called as the endocardium. Alright, there are 3 layers: pericardium, myocardium, and endocardium. Alright, now let's learn about these 3 layers in a gist. Pericardium, the outer layer that consists of connective tissue. It consists of connective tissue and some deep adipose tissue. Okay, and what is its function? Pericardium's function is to prevent or to reduce the friction. Okay, or it protects the heart by reducing friction. Now, secondly, what is the myocardium? Myocardium is the middle layer of the heart, and it is mostly made up of cardiac muscle or cardiac muscle tissue that is organized in planes. They are organized in planes and are richly supplied by blood capillaries, lymph capillaries, and nerve fibers. Alright, it pumps the blood out of the chambers of the heart. What is the function of the myocardium? It pumps the blood out to the chambers of the heart. The next, okay, alright, so the next layer is the endocardium. Now, this endocardium is made up of the epithelium and connective tissue, and it has many elastic and collagenous fibers in it. It also contains blood vessels and specialized cardiac fibers. Now we are going to learn about a special cardiac fiber that is situated in the epithelium. Now what it is called as the Purkinje fibers. Okay, the function of the Purkinje fibers is that they are very it is made so that they receive conductive signals, okay, originating from the arterioventricular node, AV node, and simultaneously they activate the left and the right ventricles by directly stimulating the ventricular myocardium. What it does? It is made of special fibers that receive conductive signals that originate from the AV node, okay, and simultaneously they activate the left and the right ventricles by directly stimulating the ventricular myocardium. Alright, now let's go about a little deep in about the valves and the septum. We've learned about the 3 layers of the heart. We've learned about the Purkinje fibers. Now we are going to learn about the valves and the septum. Now, the left atrium and ventricle are separated from the right atrium and ventricle by a solid wall-like structure. Alright, otherwise what will happen? All the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood will be mixed together. So there is something that separates these 2 partitions, and it is a thick wall-like structure, and it is called as the septum. Okay, it keeps the blood from one side mixing with the blood in the other side. Okay, but here there is an exception. The exception is that it is not there in the developing fetus. Alright, now what is the why is it called as, the next part we are going to learn as is the arterioventricular valve. Okay, what is the arterioventricular valve? Now it is called as the arterioventricular valve because they lie between the atria and the ventricle. Okay, It consists of the mitral valve. Bicuspid valve also has a different name, which is called as a mitral valve. And now it consists of the mitral valve on the left and the tricuspid valve on the right, and ensures one-way blood flow between the atria and the ventricle. We learned about this when we learned about the valves. Alright. Now, what are the tricuspid valve? Like we talked about the cusps. What are those? They are projections, or the tricuspid valve has the projections and like structures and lies between the right atrium and the right ventricle, which allows blood to move from the right atrium to the right ventricle by preventing backflow. Alright, the blood that flows to the right ventricle will not go back to the right atrium because of the tricuspid valve. Now the right ventricular muscular wall is thinner than the left ventricle, as it pumps blood to the lungs, okay, with a low resistance blood flow. It will have a low resistance blood flow, that is why the wall is thinner. Whereas the left ventricle wall is thicker, because it must force the blood to the different parts of the body. We have discussed about this earlier as well, okay, and the blood flow here is a much higher resistance, okay. And at the base of the aorta, okay, at the base of the aorta there is the aortic valve with 3 cusps. This valve opens to allow blood to leave the left ventricle during contraction, and when the ventricle releases, the valve closes to prevent the blood from flowing back, or going back, closes to prevent the blood from going back to the ventricle. Alright, we've learned about, now in this chapter or in this video, we've learned about the heart, where it is situated, its structure, and we've learned about the 4 chambers, we've learned about the valves, we've learned about the septum that is dividing between it, we've learned about the 3 layers of the heart, and we have learned about each valve and its function. Okay, so in the next video I'll be taking about the blood vessels and a little rough idea about the blood too. Alright, so till then, keep watching the video, like, share and subscribe. Bye. Thank you.